For 7 long years, I stood silently behind the scenes, the invisible support holding my family together. I covered the rent. I paid the electricity bills. I handled every grocery run, medical emergency, and birthday celebration. If it had a price tag, I found a way to pay for it. Not once did I complain, even when my savings dwindled or when I skipped meals so they wouldn't catch me eating instant noodles alone in my bedroom. I was the eldest daughter, and when my father lost his job after his company went under, I didn't hesitate. I stepped up without a second of doubt. At just 23, I was juggling 2 jobs, working retail during daylight hours and taking on freelance design gigs deep into the night. All just to keep our home from collapsing. My brother was away at university, my sister was still in high school, and my mom was too emotionally drained to function. As for my dad, he never once said thank you. Still, I loved them. I kept telling myself that someday they'd see me for more than just a solution, more than the one who always fixed things. I hoped they'd recognize me as a daughter, a human being with her own needs, someone deserving of care and acknowledgement. That moment never arrived. What I got instead was something far colder, not a slap, but something that hurt more because of how deliberately it was delivered. It was a dull, overcast Sunday. I was clearing out expired food from the fridge, having just paid off the final balance of my dad's old hospital debt. I thought, maybe this time, he'll see what I've done. Dad, I said softly, we really need to rethink how we manage money. I can't keep carrying this alone. He looked up from his coffee, his expression already hardening. You act like you're doing us some big favor, he scoffed. I paused, certain I'd misheard. I'm not pretending. I've been covering almost everything. That's when he stood up, slammed his mug against the counter, and spat out words I would replay in my head for years afterward. You think you're a saint? You're nothing but a freeloader with a savior complex. You live here rent-free and now you're giving us lectures? If it's too much, you can leave. I stood there, frozen. My mother was present. She said nothing. My sister didn't look up from her phone. My brother, home on break, barely reacted, just gave a shrug and returned to his cereal. No one came to my defense. Not a single voice reminded them that I was the reason they still had a roof. It was like I didn't exist. My heart thundered in my chest as I tried to decide whether to scream, cry, or simply collapse. Instead, I turned around, walked to my room, closed the door, and sat in silence. That night, I quietly packed a single suitcase. I didn't make a scene. I didn't announce anything. I just walked away. I moved into a friend's tiny guest room and told no one where I was going. And then, I pulled the plug on everything. Mortgage payments, cancelled. Utility bills, gone. Grocery deliveries I'd been handling, deleted. Autopay, turned off. 2 weeks passed, and my phone started lighting up like a warning alarm. Missed calls from every family member. Guilt crept in at first. Every time I flipped the phone over to avoid reading another message from my brother, why is the power out? My stomach clenched. Years of putting their needs before my own had wired me to ignore my pain. But something inside me had finally snapped. And this time, I let the silence answer for me. For the first time in years, they had to face reality without me. The fridge stayed empty. The water got shut off. The car payments defaulted. I watched from a distance as my mother posted vague requests for prayers online, cryptic Facebook updates about going through a tough season. But not once did anyone mention me. It was as if I'd never existed, just a missing gear in a machine that had stopped running. 3 weeks after I left, a call came from an unknown number. I answered out of instinct. It was my sister. You're being ridiculous, she snapped. Mom and Dad are barely holding it together, and you're out there playing the victim. I breathed in deeply. The same victim who's been paying for your Wi-Fi, your takeout, and your online shopping for the last 4 years? Silence. You knew, I said, calmly but firmly. All of you did. And none of you cared. She hung up. That night, I broke down, not from guilt, but from mourning. Mourning a family who never truly saw me as anything more than a resource, a wallet with a pulse. I wrote a letter I never planned to send. I just needed to let it all out. You called me a leech, Dad. But I was the one who kept a roof over your head. You called me selfish, but when did anyone ever stop to ask if I was okay? When I stopped paying, you didn't just lose money. You lost the one person who actually gave a damn enough to hold everything together. 2 months passed. I found a tiny studio apartment. I landed a better remote job and started doing something I hadn't done in years, spending on myself. I bought actual groceries. I started therapy. I slept peacefully, free from the dread of another unexpected bill. For the first time in forever, I wasn't just surviving. I was living. And then an email came through. Subject: urgent. Please read. It was from my dad. A wall of text. They were being evicted. They hadn't realized how many bills I'd been covering. They were drowning. And if I could just help this once, things might turn around. There was no apology. Just panic. I didn't respond. I waited. A few days later, a letter showed up, not at my apartment, but at my workplace. I had never given them that address. Somehow, they found it. Inside the envelope was a document that sent a chill down my spine. It was a copy of my father's retirement insurance policy. My name wasn't on it. I had been deliberately cut out, 2 years earlier, no less. The explanation scribbled in the margins? Not dependable. So, after all the years they leaned on me, they had also wiped me out of their plans in silence. A quiet erasure behind my back. I didn't write back. I didn't call. But something inside me hardened. I wasn't just going to walk away anymore. I was going to reclaim my story. Then, fate handed me the most unexpected tool to do exactly that. Out of nowhere, a message popped up from an old college friend I hadn't heard from in years. Hey, random question. Isn't that duplex your parents live in? My uncle's firm just bought the building. They're looking to renovate and flip it unless someone wants to manage the lease. Want me to connect you? I stared at the message, stunned. The same home I had paid for, protected, and sacrificed for, now up for grabs. And I had a chance to be the one holding the lease. The timing was too perfect to be coincidence. I smiled. Not with bitterness, but with clarity. Karma had shown up. And this time, I was ready to open the door. I took the meeting, not out of vengeance, but with purpose. The building was in rough condition. Years of neglect, just like the way they had treated me. But I saw potential. I had savings now. I had excellent credit. I had wisdom born from hard lessons. I purchased the property under an LLC, no personal name, no trace linking it to me. As far as they knew, I had vanished. But in truth, I was right there, watching. The day ownership officially changed hands, I got a voicemail from my mother. Her voice cracked through tears. We got a letter, she whimpered. They're selling the building. We're going to lose the house. I don't know what to do. The house she was crying over? That was the same house I kept running with freelance jobs that bled into dawn. The same house I paid to keep afloat when they couldn't. And now, she grieved what I once held up by myself. But I didn't feel broken. I felt still. Certain. I sent them a formal letter, from the LLC, giving them 60 days' notice. That's when they showed up at my doorstep. Not my old apartment. Not the friend's place I once crashed in. No, they had hunted down my current address, my quiet, hard-earned studio condo, through old contacts and distant relatives I hadn't spoken to in years. They arrived together. My father, standing rigid with his arms folded like we were picking up where we left off. My mother looked tired and bewildered. My brother, silent for months, stood awkwardly clutching a grocery bag like it was some kind of truce. Can we come in? My father asked, voice flat. No, I said calmly. He tried again. Look, we're dealing with a lot right now. You've made your point. But family's supposed to support each other. You owe us that much. A quiet laugh escaped me, not cruel but hollow. I owe you? I gave you everything for 7 years. You threw me out and called me a parasite. Mom stepped forward, tears welling. We were overwhelmed. We didn't mean it. Did you also not mean removing me from the retirement policy? Was that just part of the stress? Their faces shifted. I saw it land. I know everything, I said softly. You made me your emergency backup, the silent workhorse. And the second I stopped, you tried to erase me. Well, consider this. I've removed you from my financial world, from my responsibilities, and from my future. No one spoke. But I'll do you one better, I added. keeping my voice steady. I'm not evicting you. I'm offering a deal. You can stay, under one condition. You'll pay full market rent, on time, with no exceptions. The same contract any stranger would get. Or, you can move out. The silence stretched. You're bluffing, my brother muttered. I stepped back into the doorway, raised my hand, and showed them the new keys. These say I'm not. Eventually, they left. No raised voices. No pleas. Just quiet shock. And with that, I had taken back everything they once demanded, but this time on my terms. Weeks passed. They didn't choose to stay. Instead, they moved in with my aunt, the same one who used to judge me for not settling down sooner. Word traveled back to me. They weren't happy there. But they never called. Not once. I kept the duplex. I renovated it. And in the second unit, I created a quiet sanctuary, a space to breathe, to paint, to read. A place untouched by shame or guilt. The tenant's rent paid my bills. The silence paid for my healing. One day, I printed out my mother's voicemail, the one where she begged for help. I framed it. Not to celebrate their downfall, but to remember something deeply important. I am not a burden. I am not disposable. I am not a last resort. I was the foundation beneath them for years. And now? I stand alone, steady, whole, and finally recognized by the person who matters most, me. When people ask if I miss my family, I smile gently and reply, no. I built a new one. It has boundaries, peace, and my name on the deed. Start to finish, all mine.